How's it going, guys? My name is Carter, and I'm here with Brandon today, and this is the Morning Brew episode 2. So Brandon is here. I brought him on to kind of talk about some topics. We always have some interesting conversations, so I thought it would be really neat to bring him on to the show. Tell him a little bit about yourself, Brandon.
I'm Brandon. I go to Kalamazoo Valley Community College. I plan on majoring in fashion marketing. I hope to start my own brand one day, whether that's just in like music, just casual dress, anything really.
Everything overall. You want to start a culture, am I right?
For sure.
Is that what we talked about a little bit?
I want to start a culture, a new culture around my hometown anyways, because there's not a lot of culture around here in Michigan. And I think that Michigan's a great place to start some culture. We have a great economy. We have all sorts of things.
We're out here putting our city on the map. Am I right?
For sure, putting our city on the map.
For a good reason. So I'm going to hop right into the questions for today. I say questions, but you guys didn't leave many questions, which is really unfortunate because I think a lot of people told me the show's great, but you guys didn't leave questions. So let's get going. Leave a question right now if you have one for me, if something's been weighing on your mind. And what will actually happen is we'll just do a rapid fire on all the questions in the beginning of the show usually. Today we got one question, and I'm going to hop right into it. How can I be on the show is the main question here. There's some other stuff too. But whoops. Hold on a second, guys. My computer's a little wild right now. Okay, let me get my pen color. And cool. So, can I be on the show? Looks to be the question here. And the way you guys can get on the show is literally either commenting like this, or a better way would be sending me a message, because that way it can be kept a little bit more private and we can keep it a surprise for the viewers that are going to be watching the show in the future. Guys, there's no restrictions right now to who can be on the show. I think that it'd be really good to have all kinds of people here. I think in the future it's going to get pretty booked because I plan on going all in on this show and really working hard. Right now it's just a Monday thing, but eventually I would love to make it an everyday thing. So get in while you can, and I'd love to see some of you guys on the show. So we're going to hop right into our topics for today. Let's see here. Okay, cool. So we've got a few topics today that Brandon and I talked about. We wanted to go over, but before any of this, just a side note, and this will be here at the end of the video too. But go check out Brandon on social media. He does some great stuff, has some great opinions, and if you guys haven't checked out the Anchor app yet, go check that out because it's a great place to start your own podcast. And same with Vero. This app is a newer app. What do you think about that so far?
Vero's sweet, man. It's
we
a place
love it.
Where you can categorize your friends, right? So you can have acquaintances, close friends. There's one more, right? Everybody, I think. So you can pick between those 4, and whatever you post, you can choose whether you want just your close friends to see it, just your friends to see it, your acquaintances, or everybody. Just kind of like your spam accounts. Everybody wants to make a spam account on Instagram. It's just like that. So I'd get one quick because Carter tells me that they're going to make it subscription-based soon. So if you get one now, you get a free subscription for life. So.
Yeah, it's like free for life. And we aren't sponsored or anything, but I just don't want you guys to miss out on this opportunity. So go ahead and get one, and you guys can follow us on Vero if you want to keep up with us there. That's where I'm going to be posting my most organic content, my most real stuff. I'm going to be posting the most private stuff on there. So if you guys want to get an inside look at what I'm doing with my life, check it out.
And if you follow me, you're just going to get some some beats that I've been making. You're going to get some stuff I want to spread, whether that's some stuff about Tupac I want to throw out one day, or some stuff about anything really.
This guy's big on the music culture. He knows a lot about music.
Yeah, anything really.
All right, so we're just going to go right into the topics today. And the first one that we talked about a lot, and we talk about this a lot, is gaining respect. Now, do you want to kind of elaborate on why we decided to throw this topic on the podcast today?
Well, gaining respect is really it's a key concept for building your self-brand, right? Because you have to keep on that. You have to keep doing what you're doing. You got to be yourself. But when things get bad, when people want to say bad things to you, when people want to make you feel bad for being yourself and creating this image of yourself, then you just got to keep sticking with it, because eventually people will catch on, And whether you live in a big town or a small town, the stuff you do is different from somebody who lives in, say, India, you know? There's somebody in India could be watching YouTube right now, seeing you just riding your bike down the street or, I don't know, going for a run, and that might be crazy to them, you know?
Yeah, they might think that's cool.
Whereas, yeah, they might think that's sweet, you know? So,
whereas right here, you know, it's not as big of a deal what we're doing, but you got to really, and that goes along with another topic we have, self-confidence. You have to be confident in what you're creating, putting out, and stick to it, guys. Stay the course. If you say you're going to do something, you better think about what you're saying you're going to do before you do it. It's okay to test and implement and say, oh, this didn't really work, but at least put some form of time into it. At least say before you do it, I'm going to commit this much time to it. Kind of like my digital marketing agency. Guys, I dropped out of college to start that, and well, I started it while I was still in college, but dropped out of college to go all in on it, and I said, I'm going to work on this for a year. I'm going to stay the course. I don't care what the implications are. A year at the very least is what I'm going to do with this. So, something Brandon brought up. You want to tell them the story about about my YouTube and stuff like that?
Okay, so Carter started making videos probably like a couple years ago, and I've always kind of known Carter's been making videos since middle school. He was making Call of Duty videos, edit stuff like that. You know, meet people online and make videos. And you know, I talked to a lot of people from around here, and they used to make fun of Carter. They used to like, oh man, Carter's just making these weird little daily videos. What he's doing, I don't get it. How is he getting views? But what they don't understand is over time you build this like following, and people love to hear what really anybody has to say. And the more you talk to somebody, the more you gain a relationship with them. And you know, everybody wanted to say mean things about Carter when he started his channel, but now Carter has, you know, a fair amount of subs, a fair amount of people who view his stuff. You know, it's a respectable amount. And now everybody wants to say like, oh, Carter's videos are pretty sweet. Carter's videos are real nice edited and they're really well put out. And that's just to show you that the more that you stay on that path of what you want to do, and the more you just grind towards what you want to grind towards, people are going to hop on the train.
You gain that respect, right?
Yeah, you gain that respect. Yeah. And you know, everybody doesn't want to see you do something that they want to do. Right? Like they say they want to do something, right? They want to make their own brand. They want to get fit. But once they see someone else doing it, that dwindles their self-confidence because they don't know if they can test themselves to that level. And then when they see you doing it, that's more competition for them, so they just dislike you right away. And people love to dislike somebody who's doing something for themselves.
Yeah, people don't like to see people going out of the norm and getting attention that they would like to have for the average shit that they're doing. In my opinion, that's what happens a lot. People get upset if somebody's doing something out of the norm. There's no other reason for them to be upset, you know? They might say it's corny or they might say it's stupid, but there's really no reason other than the attention's not on them for once, right? So I think we should move on to the next topic, but gaining respect, you know, staying the course, doing your thing, and, you know, ultimately that's a game changer in my opinion, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So our next topic here, we have books and multiple perspectives. And now this is talking about how you need to really take people's perception and include it into your own. Right, because you perceive life differently than everybody, and everybody has a different perception. And whether you want to give them credit for it or not, these people have lived through situations that you haven't lived through. So they have knowledge for you to gain if you just talk to them. And then certain life situations will come up for you, and you'll have that extra knowledge to think about when those life situations come up. So
very situational, right? So if you have two different perspectives, it's much better than just taking one person's perspective and just going full force with it. You shouldn't take anyone's perspective and solely base your life on it, because your life is way different than anybody else. I don't care what you say. Like, even if you're the same ethnicity, even if you live in the same town, you're going to have so many different little implications, so many different variables that are going to affect the way that you live your life and the way that you should live your life. So we were over here, we were looking at my book rack. Brandon walks in, grabs the Crushing It, the Gary V one.
Oh, Gary V. Shout out Gary V. Gary V, you are a legend. Keep doing what you're doing.
And then and we started talking a little bit. I've got two books over here that are kind of about like feminine and masculine energy, about having good relationships. And I was talking to Brandon. They're both great books, but they have two very different approaches to connecting with the other gender. I think that that's like a really important thing in life. People might think it's corny that I have books about that, but to tell you the truth, it's something that I was lacking at. So I always want to improve. Whoops, my battery's running low. I better plug that in. But you want to continue talking while I
continue
get that
talking.
going?
So really, you want to be kind of ignorant towards your own perspective, right? You want to see things as you see things, but always take everybody else's perception into account.
Into consideration.
Yeah, into consideration at least, because they probably do know a little something, and especially what I learned growing up is young kids are always so like rambunctious, and they're so like, I know it all. I knew it all when I was 14. I knew it all when I was 16, but I still have no clue about all of it. I'm still learning every day about life, and I'm still like, I still get set back all the time.
Well, we're young, man, right?
Yeah.
You can't look at life and say we've experienced so much because we haven't. I mean,
yeah.
I think it does set us apart that we are thinking about it constantly, and we are actively trying to improve our lives. Like, I know that you are, I know that I am, and we're always looking at things with the perspective of there are things that need to be improved. There's reasons that we're not succeeding that we can fix. There's things that we can change to make us better, and I think that is so key to have that self-awareness. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
And having those perspectives, having those books to read, that helps, right?
Yeah, for sure. Having those books to read. Anytime that you're in a situation in life and you've like read a book about it, or even just listen to someone talk. I like to watch Tupac interviews because Tupac was just super wise, super smart. If you think Tupac was a bad dude or a gangster, you should go watch some of his interviews because you'll start thinking differently.
Smart guy for sure.
But taking other people's perception into account, it's gonna help you when you get faced with those situations for sure. And like even you won't notice it right away either. You'll think like, oh, I've read about that, and a lot of people don't like, they can't tell when something is happening to them in their life because it's really blinding from the first person perspective. But this is why you should surround yourself with really good people as well. Good friends who are going to tell you the truth about your situation. Yeah, they're gonna tell you when you're messing up, and they're gonna tell you because they know you, and whether they know, like they might know you better than you know yourself. For real, like because there's times where you just go off on a different route. On mentally. An emotional route. Yeah, you go on an emotional route instead of a logical route. And when you let your emotions cloud your logic, I mean, it can be good. There's times when you should let your emotion cloud your logic, like maybe in like a basketball game or something kind of competitive. There should be emotion in there, but you can never let it cloud your logic to where you can't think clearly. But on top of that, what I was saying is make sure you have good friends around you to keep you grounded, because if you don't, you could just recently I've done it. Recently I was pretty depressed, and I was feeling pretty stressed, and I was on a downward path, and it took my friend Brandon Wilkins, shout out Brandon Wilkins, he told me that I was just being ridiculous. He straight up told me, he's like, all right, dude, you're gonna let like these little things tear you down. He's like, this isn't how you always have been. You've always been super self-confident, wanting to attack your problems, and now you're gonna let a small thing bring you down. There's much more to life than that. And did I want to hear that? No. At first I was kind of like, oh, fuck you, Brandon, I can't believe you said that to me. But then after I heard it, I was like, wow, he's so right. I never thought Brandon would be the one giving me the advice I needed in my life. Right. I thank him for it. And that was something about perception right there. This man had a different perception than I did, and he actually knew my perception and how I would have viewed it, and he told me what I needed to hear to get right back on track. So
that's good, man. And I think when you want to do anything regarding change or regarding like a new wave, you've always got to put action behind your words, like we said earlier with gaining respect. That's our third topic here, but I think we already touched on that a little bit, so I'm gonna go over that. That's key, guys. And when Brandon was talking about the multiple perspectives and having your friends be there as support groups, I think it's very key that your friends are self-aware as well, because you need people that have the same track of thinking, but you need people that are able to think logically in your situation. If you're in a bad relationship, an abusive relationship, just for instance, this is an example, maybe not physical, but like a verbally abusive or a mentally abusive relationship, your friends are going to notice that way before you because you're making emotional decisions.
And they're also gonna notice when you. A lot of people are changed by the people they let. Like they're gonna notice when people come in and like change you for the worst. Because I've had moments in my life where like a friend will come into my life or a girl or something like that, and I'll change myself to like almost impress them because you think you want things, right? You think you know what you want, and then my friends would tell me, like that you're not normal. That's not how you're like, Brandon. And I don't get why you're doing that. And normally they're right, as obviously you can kind of perceive yourself if you think you're going on the right track or not. That's all up to you to perceive. But normally my friends, the ones I pick to be around me, are right when I make mistakes like that. But and putting action behind your words, this is what I want to add on to that subject. Put action behind everything. Like when the stuff that you can't control in your life, like even when something bad happens. All right, so say that you just woke up, you're ready to go to work, and your car's not working, right? A lot of people just quit right there. Like, oh, my car's not working. I'm done. I got to go to bed. I'm done with this. I'm just going to call in and say screw it. But, like, that's a whole day wasted because you didn't want to,
There's always a path that you can take. Yeah. There's so many options in this world.
Yeah, call somebody, like, try to fix it. Do something about it because just saying that your car's not working and saying screw it's not going to do anything. And that's, like, the same with anything that comes in your life. Say that someone left you or, your parents aren't there.
All excuses to just shut down and quit on whatever you're going after. And honestly, in my opinion, I'm empathetic for it. I understand, being in that situation where you just want to quit and having that almost uncontrollable feeling of depression or feeling of, I just don't want to move forward. But you have to put things in place that help you move forward. For instance, this morning I woke up. And this is how it is a lot in the morning. I'm not particularly a morning person. I do work well in the morning, but it takes me a while to get started. So I woke up this morning, my room was a mess, and I was like, I do not want to do anything today. I had a networking event to go to very early this morning, and for instance, I didn't want to go to that. I mean, I knew I needed to, and I did, but I didn't want to. But I got up out of bed. I did a quick little cardio workout, like a quick little 5-minute thing. Cleaned up my room, did some meditation, got a shower, and then I was off to the meeting. And ever since, my perspective has changed in the day. Super happy. But there's always things you can do to upgrade it, like upgrade your emotions or your happiness. If you just lay in bed all day and you just dwell on it, or you just sit on your phone all day and just look at how everybody else is living their life in these awesome fashions, then that's not going to move you forward. You have to take steps to move you forward if you're ever feeling down or if you ever come upon a problem.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. And even to add on that, once you start taking those little baby steps, you'll just feel better. You'll feel way better. So there's a sergeant who talks about every morning he wakes up and he makes his bed because he knows that if the rest of the day goes bad, he comes home to a nice made bed. And that's just a mental thing of like now he's not just sad about what happened today. He has a nicer mindset for tomorrow because he came home to his nice bed that was already made. So help yourself in the future. Like right now, you might be in the dirt and you might be sad and you're crawling around. You got no money.
There's little victories though.
Yeah, but you can get those little victories. And those
you can make your bed in the morning. You can do push-ups in the morning.
They're going to increase your self-confidence, and then those little victories, they're just going to start turning into big victories.
Look, guys, everything is about momentum. My marketing agency, when I started it in the first month, it was very small sales. I was doing $100 to $300 sales. It was going okay, and I was like, okay, I'm making enough to live, and I'm doing well. And I was honestly so pumped about those little sales. So pumped. As of right now, I'm making sales up into the thousands now. I'm traveling around to do consulting now. And it's all because I let that momentum snowball. And every time I was excited about something, I got to work again. I didn't relax. I didn't just sit there. I started with small victories and it turned into a snowball. And guys, I'll tell you the truth. I could go to college for 4 years, but imagine where my momentum is going to be in 4 years compared to how far it's come in 4 months.
Mm-hmm. I'd also like to bring up, you talked about in your last video, the t-shirt shop and how I don't know. I witnessed it from like the outside point of view because I wasn't there to make the shirts or anything and all that. But I saw people from our community genuinely get excited that we had a shirt that was just like iconic to us. And those like small little like I can imagine you probably made a lot of just connections with people. Like whether
people that I normally wouldn't talk to.
People you normally wouldn't talk to, people who just are out of your like general frame of people you talk to, you know, your general chain.
Made an impact on the community also. And like and where were you going with that? Can you continue with it?
I was just gonna say that like those experiences are worth more than the money.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
For like the meeting all those people, making those connections. Now those people know you in the future, so that's more opportunity right there. But on top of that, you just like that's like a part of your life you can look at and say like, oh, I did something nice for the town. I made a little money in the process, and it was just a sweet turnout. I watched it. I thought it was sweet.
Thanks, man.
I thought it was awesome
Appreciate
to see
that,
people.
Dude.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome to see people in the town get excited about something that we didn't have, and we have small culture around this town, guys. Like it's dead for the most part.
It's very basic.
The biggest culture we have is like bar culture at night. We're a bunch of like, no offense, but like a lot of just really like upset drunk people come to like just chill and worry, like get rid of the stresses of life, which I understand.
Talk about like the small town issues. You know?
Talk about the small town issues.
That's why I'm doing something big here, guys, or I think I'm doing something big, trying to, you know, there's not a lot of people going hard on their dreams in this town. I see a lot of kids that, you know, do love the education system, how it is, and they do love going to college. And Brandon has his reasons to go to college. But for me, and for so many kids that do go to college, that I know they don't want to go, it pisses me off to see people every day complaining, you know, saying, I don't even want to do this. I don't want to go to class. They don't want to learn. They don't want to pursue the subjects. They're just doing it for a nice job to make a nice living. And I think that's so wrong. So I was very comfortable in college, very good in the social setting. But at the end of the day, guys, like, why was I there? I wasn't making any progress. So
I'd like to point this out too is you know, Carter just said that people are going and they don't even want to go. They're uninspired. Now, once you're uninspired for something like that, number one, you got to think about the energy you're giving off to others. People don't want to like generally people don't want to work with somebody who's just really like depressed and uninspired about anything. So you're putting off a bad image of yourself to the public, which is like people don't stress their public image enough. Your public image is pretty damn important, and people like stereotypes exist. Like you're gonna lose opportunity just because of how you look. It's just the fact of life. So if you don't show yourself in a good showing or how you want to show yourself, you're gonna lose a lot of opportunities. And
you want to get the most out of yourself. You want to. Hold on a second. Recording issue. All right, guys, sorry about that little camera issue. We had a little glitch there, and we kind of lost our train of thought as well throughout that. But we're going to move on to the next topic here, fitness. And this is something that Brandon and I have been very serious about lately. And it's something that we're still like, well, personally for me, like I'm still kind of like in just the beginning of it. So it's a very fun time for me in fitness. But I know that it's going to be a challenge after a while. I'm going to have to push through like not wanting to go to the gym and not wanting to do this or that. But definitely important. What would you say about fitness, man? Like, what are some common things that like people bring up about it that they ask you or?
Well, a lot of people, number one, just like to ask me like how to lose weight and how to get big are the two common questions I get asked the most. I used to be 250 pounds when I was a freshman in high school, and then I dropped down to about 180 by my senior year. And I'm telling you, the only thing that is going to get you to lose weight, and you're not going to want to hear this, but it's definitely just hard work, lots of running, lots of exercise, period, just lots of sweating. It's kind of not that important on what you eat, depending on how big you want to be. Because if you want to be smaller and still look good,
you're bulking, it's more important, right?
Yeah. If you're bulking, it's it's also important. Your diet is important no matter what, but it's not as humongous of a deal as I think people make it to be.
If you're getting,
I think it's like a 70-30.
I think of it like if you're eating healthy and you're getting the calories, you don't need to worry too much about like exactly what you're eating, like meal planning. I think it's just good to make sure you're feeding your body like the good stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure you're eating enough, and then after that, like I log it some days and some days I don't because some days I'm too busy to, or it's hard to log stuff if you eat out. But wouldn't you agree that like it's just you do have to eat a lot, but it's not necessarily like so much about
for bulking up?
Exactly. Yeah, for bulking.
For bulking up, yeah, you have to eat a lot. What I'm going to say for anybody who wants to bulk up, and this is just like key, eat lots of meat. Eat meat more than anything else in your diet plan because meat has protein and fats, but not like fats aren't that bad for you. People misunderstand this a lot, but you burn fats actually quicker than you do carbohydrates. So a lot of people like to carbohydrate up before workouts. I mean, it's good if you're eating like a bagel or something like that. That's like a good pre-workout. But as far as like afterwards goes and like even before,
you're talking like good fats though, right?
Yeah,
you're not talking like
meats
like
have
the process. You're not talking like the processed shit.
Yeah,
right?
not like processed stuff, but like the like general like good meat that you get has good fats.
If you're gonna work out, it's okay to have fat.
Yeah. It's good to get those fats from meats more than anything because, like I said, the fats are gonna burn off way quicker than calories. So you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose more weight if you're eating more like the fats before the workouts and the carbohydrates because carbohydrates stick around longer. And then you're going to gain. All that protein is going to go straight to your muscles afterwards. So you're like, that's like the most you can get out of.
You're building a machine when you're working out. You want to think about, what you're putting in your body. Yeah. But like Brandon said.
And low reps, very high weight. Like push yourself to the limit of what you can. If you have
a spotter, have them help you on your last few reps.
Yeah.
Like carry your muscles, push them to the limit if you're lifting. If you're doing cardio, push through pain. I know it sounds a lot easier than what it truly is.
Cardio is more of a mental workout than it is a physical one at all.
For damn sure.
Because it's like once you hit that mental point where you're like, oh my God, my legs are so tired, I can't run anymore.
Yeah, I've got this quote on my wall over here. I firmly believe that any man's finest hour is the moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause. The camera stopped. Sorry, we're having a few issues here. The quote goes, I firmly believe that any man's finest hour is the moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the field victorious. It's a Vince Lombardi quote. The founder of the Lombardi Trophy. He was a coach for the Green Bay Packers, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always thought about with running. You can break through mental barriers and that feeling after you're done is so amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially like the next day you wake up sore. Like it sucks to be sore, but for damn sure that like you would rather be sore than not sore.
Yeah.
And know that you put in a good workout. So, do you want to talk a little bit more on like the philosophical like fitness like why we do it, why we work hard, how it applies to like life a little bit more?
When you push yourself in workouts, and this is why like when you're growing up, all your coaches and your sport and the sports you play are all like, guys, we're training you for life, not this. We're training you for life. It's because they really kind of are. I mean, I don't think like in high school they push you that hard in the sports, like as hard as I'd push myself for life because I just have high expectations for myself. But the more you do this stuff and you get over those mental barriers, and I'll tell you from my own personal experience, the time where I like really like shifted mentally, I was wrestling my buddy Mike, and we do these like MMA workouts and stuff. I'm trying to get a little bit in shape, and that's like the best shape you can be in. So we're wrestling, and I'm tired. I'm just dead. I'm laying on the floor, just all out of energy. Wrestling is so hard. I respect anybody who can wrestle because that's crazy. But I'm just dead, out of energy, and I felt like I was gonna puke, and like just crap my pants at the same time. It was such a bad feeling. And Mike tells me, he said, "All right, get up, 3 more takedowns." And Mike is a good wrestler, like all-state, very good wrestler. Just whoops me when we're working. So 3 more takedowns on him is like that's like running a couple more miles.
It's like cutting down cutting down a fat tree with a hatchet.
Yeah, cutting down a fat tree. That's a good analogy, yeah. So I worked my hardest to get these 3 takedowns, and after that last takedown, I had never felt so good about myself in my life because I did not let that tiredness, that mentality, and that exhaustion keep me from what I wanted. And that's where you'll build, because when you make those builds right there, when you pass that stage of like I can't do this, the next time you do that, it'll be higher. The stage will be a little bit higher, and then you think I can't do that.
I noticed that
and
with
then
our plate
build.
workout. Like I was using a 35. We do this plate workout. It's like a bunch of different like plate variations of lifts that you have to do, and it's just with a 35 pound or a 45 pound plate. I did it with a 35 the first time I did it, and I thought it was so damn hard. The second time, I just like mentally told myself, I'm going to do this with a 45, and I'm going to be able to do it. And you know what? I did fine with it.
And the next time we'll probably do 15 of each instead of 10 of each.
Yeah.
You know, it just keeps building. So once if you can correlate that, it's kind of hard because mental pain and physical pain are different. And working out, you kind of experience both. But once you can correlate that to your life and those experiences that hold you back, and even like anything that is holding you back shouldn't, because once you start attacking those things that are holding you back, you start to realize they aren't as hard as you thought they were. And if you just put yourself in that position of danger where you're like, oh shit, you go into panic mode. And then panic mode, I actually watched a video one time about this, and they called it the panic monster. And that's what comes out of you whenever you're in a situation of like uncomfortability. And when your panic monster comes out, you just start frantically going at your goal. You just start frantically trying to figure out, oh God, how do I?
You get so many different routes on how to accomplish problems.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about people literally, like people that aren't physically capable of doing it. They're out there working on their car, and somebody that they know is underneath the car falls on them. I've heard of people literally lifting cars to get people out from under them that aren't physically capable of it normally, but it's because the human body is amazing. It allows you to do things when you're in times of desperation that you never would be able to imagine. So putting yourself in situations where you have to deal with very hard tasks, it's a lot better now. You know, it used to be if you were a human being, there were a lot of threats in your life. There were a lot of things that that biologically throughout history have been threats to human beings, and that's why we have these things implanted in us. That's why we have these kind of repulsive, like that panic mode you're talking about, the fight or flight kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's why we have that in us. But you can really use that to your advantage. You know, nowadays people get in their fight or flight over making a goddamn phone call.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but like me, for myself, like I've looked at that, like I'm not going to die. You know, I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling somebody to see if they want to do business with me. Like it used to be, you know, the fight or flight used to be if somebody was going to kill you, you know?
Yeah.
There's our problems are much smaller, and I think people have to realize that, and they have to, you know, take that into.
We evolve every day. Mentally, you evolve every single day. Why do you think people say time's a healer? Because the more time you have to think about all your thoughts, the more you mentally just keep evolving in thought. And
same as fitness, you know, you're really building on a machine.
Yeah, you treat yourself like you're almost like it's a video game, and every little thing you do is just another task completed. Upgrade. Yeah.
That's why I like books, guys. This book right here, this is the .com Secrets. This book has helped me with so many things throughout my digital marketing career so far. And guys, I think about this $10 or $15 investment as, you know, an upgrade. I'm like a vehicle, and this is just like an upgrade on, you know, what I'm capable of. It makes me go faster. It makes me work harder. It makes me work a lot smarter. So, you know, books are good to add on to that machine. Working out's good to add on to that machine. Mental workouts are good to add on to that machine.
Anything
sure,
that
agree,
can, right? Anything that can just work towards your goal. Anything that's working towards your goal is something you should pursue. It'll evolve you mentally.
That's why fitness is a good goal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And fitness will show you the strength in yourself, because anybody can do fitness. Anybody at all can just go outside and run right now. Anybody can do push-ups. I mean, obviously you don't have an arm, you can't do push-ups, but you can do something else. I trust me, I'll find something for you. We got one-legged squats, anything.
Just like you were talking about earlier, like if you want to, yeah, you can just quit. You can like just sit there and be like, oh, I'm depressed.
And we
but
get it.
There's so many paths. Like, yeah, I'm empathetic for that. Like, I've felt that so many times. Like,
but that's what changes. That's what makes the difference between average people and above average people too. And another thing I'd like to add on real quick is that don't count yourself out right away. And this is where I find, like, at least from a small town like I am from, kids count themselves out right away. Like, I've seen, oh my gosh, Kaylor Staffney is a sweet basketball player. He's in 10th grade. He's got the skills of a senior right now, and all he has to do is just perfect his game, and he will be a great athlete. And, I mean, there's probably, there's probably like 20,000 kids who play basketball in Michigan, right? And now this kid is really good. He probably is like the top, like 2,000, maybe even more, of kids who play basketball in the state. So that's 8,000 kids this guy just beat out. He doesn't think he's that good, but he's better than 8,000 kids.
It's about self-confidence.
Yeah, if you bring that to the United States and all, he's probably better than, like a couple 100,000 kids. So don't count yourself out right away, because you might, I mean, I talked about this in my last podcast. Be confident, but be humble too, because you are better than a lot of people you think you're better than that. Then, even if you haven't taken so many steps, you've probably taken more steps than somebody else. So, granted, you're not the best yet. That's why you should be humble and keep working. But you are good, so be confident. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. Like, that's just ridiculous. And the same with, I think, a lot of like racial issues nowadays would be solved. And I'm not saying like you can't solve racial issues. It'll just always happen. People connect stereotypes to people, and there's always people always have something they connect to you and predetermine who you are, right? But if you don't let that happen, if you just say, like, the next person tries to say something mean and racist to you, if you tell them, like, no, dude, that's not okay. I'm a person just like you. You can't say that. Who cares if they don't agree? Who cares? But you just set that platform from everybody else. Now everybody else knows where you stand, and they know that they can't come up to you talking like racist or anything. They know they can't do that now, because they know that you're just as good as everybody else.
Totally agree there, man.
So don't ever let anybody try to count you out or tell you you're nothing, because you're just as good as everybody else. You just got to put some work in. And that's where the talk comes in. That's where everybody likes to talk more than they like to actually do work, because talking can make you look good.
Talking,
like
really
I said
easy.
earlier, public perception gives out like a lot of what people perceive of you. A lot of people aren't even as cool as they're perceived to be, but since they talk like it, people think they're really cool. People think they're sweet, and they're not. They just talk about what they talk about, and they don't even do any work in the background, but you never question them.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs doing that right now. I think, like, entrepreneurship right now, and I look at it like I've always been an entrepreneur, I feel like. I don't think that the success rate in entrepreneurship is very high, but there's a reason. It's because a lot of the people that are going into entrepreneurship aren't entrepreneurs, They don't
want to put in the work.
And I don't care, like, if you have a business degree, like, you might be an entrepreneur, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're automatically an entrepreneur. I think that you can learn it, but I think, like, having, like, those kind of ideas built into your head, just instinctively being like, oh, that's a good idea to make some money, or I know how to work with people here to make a better option for myself. Like, those are entrepreneurship kind of characteristics, and like that's the way that I look at that right now. But there's a lot of people out there that aren't built to do it, and they're acting like they are. They're talking about it, but they're not putting action behind it, and they're not doing it in what my opinion is the right way. So I think we should wrap up with the whole thing, but we touched on a lot of stuff, and the reason I wanted to have Brandon on this show is because when him and I get together, we always have these kind of conversations, and
good conversations.
It's stuff that I want to put out in public, because we can have these conversations, but it's like we're
if
the
no
only
one knows
two people.
about it, we're just talking to each other, and we already know. Like,
and we just kind of bitch about it back and forth. But
almost.
I mean, we're just like, why don't people get this stuff? But we're not taking action there. So we decided to put this out, and people can watch it if they choose to, and that's all that we ask. So
hope you guys get a new, really start to like evaluate your life. You know, evaluate yourself, evaluate your life, and evaluate how you perceive things and how other people perceive things. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. So with these videos, guys, if you do think that they're a little bit lengthy, just honestly, like if you go on a run, if you go work out, put it on in the background. It's better than some of the trash music that I know you guys are listening to.
Yeah, for sure. And if you want, Carter here said that we could possibly make stuff like this into a podcast too, that you guys could just listen to.
Yeah, we will.
Not even have to watch
We will
the
be
video.
doing that eventually, and you can already do that kind of. Just plug this into your aux in your car, listen to it on your way commuting or something like that, or put it in your pocket when you're running. But if you guys have any questions, as I said before, we are going to be answering questions on the next episode. I wish Brandon could be here with me every episode. He's a great guy. But next episode, I'll have somebody else, and
we will try to be back here one day.
Yes,
one day
sure.
for sure.
I would love to have you on again, man. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please leave some comments, ask your questions, anything else that you would like to say, leave some feedback. Tell us your opinion on some of this stuff.
Give this man some comments. Get a little discussion going, guys. I mean, it's not bad to throw out your opinion. And like I said, be proud of your opinion. It's not bad. Throw a little comment in the comments. Get a little discussion started, you know? It's good. Build a community, right?
Heck yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, man.
No problem, bro.
And cheers to a great podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Oh, that was cool. That was fun.